Hey, what's up guys and welcome back to Anime King 2. And today I'm going to be giving you part 17 of What If Naruto Was Neglected and Lost Everything. Remember to get this one to 100 likes as usual. Share this to all of your friends in your social media platform. And also guys, go ahead and check out the brand new episode of What If Naruto Was the legendary neglected Uzumaki that I posted over on Anime King, and enjoy that guys. And remember, if you're new, to go ahead and click that red subscribe button and become part of the Anime King family. And thank you for all of your help and support. Remember to comment down below and tell me if you're new. I'll be replying talking back to all of you. So yeah, without further ado, what do you say we begin this new episode? Start the intro. So, the last spot we left off, it has been 2 years. 2 years since Naruto and Uncle got married. As Naruto has grown, he was now 16 years old, as he was currently in the office of the Hokage, as he was getting a mission from Minato. As Naruto wanted to be a Jonin, he didn't want to be promoted by the Hokage because of a celebration promotion. He wanted to be promoted by his skills and his mission intake. That is why he's currently taking this S-class mission. As he made his way after that, things weren't good with him and the Hokage at all. As he made his way outside, as he was attacked by 2 boys. It was none other than Sasuke and Neji. Over the years, the both of them had gained this kind of rivalry between each other. Saying that Sasuke wanted to get strong enough so that he could find Itachi. And also, Naruto was gonna help him with that, so he always saw Neji near Naruto's side. And the both of them ended up training together once, and a rivalry started between them. And Naruto became their unofficial teacher. Neji was going to be taking the exam, but Naruto was going to be here, seeing that he was going to be on his mission. As he apologized for that, Neji told him that it was fine. As with that, Naruto made his way home, where he collected his loving daughter from Shizune. Her name was Yumi Senju, the daughter that he loved so much. As Naruto arrived home, as he started to prepare a meal, Uncle didn't like it when he went on the S-rank missions, as she was just worried all the time. As she came, she knew that something was off, as he was giving her that smile. As she asked him, what now? As he told her about the mission, she flipped out a bit, but she just made him promise that he will come back. As Naruto smiled towards her, of course that he will come back. As Yumi wasn't so happy about her father leaving either, as she was worried like her mother. So with that, Naruto made his way on his S-rank mission. As Yumi was staying with her grandmother, as Uncle went out drinking with Kunai. Uncle was still feeling regret upon what she did all those years ago. But she had to say, that gave her this wonderful life, a beautiful, loving daughter, and her current relationship with Naruto. But she was still extremely worried because of what Naruto said a long time ago, about people that keep the truth away from him, people that lie to him. He really hated those people, and she was one of those people, as she still hated herself for what she did back then. Meanwhile, Naruto in his mission, it was all a trap as Ray had set everything up. The man had lost his mind last time he fought with Naruto. He thought that Naruto was some kind of demon, as Naruto had literally ripped his partner Rimuru to pieces. The man had implanted other eye into his eye. He had gone psychopathic, as he took on Naruto, but Naruto was far above his level, as Naruto outclassed the man in every single way. The man called upon lightning to kill himself and take Naruto with him, but Naruto simply flashed away from his step, as he was too fast to be caught up in that. He has really grown over the past couple of years. Yes, he's extremely strong now. So with that out of the way, they were about to leave when a girl came out, as she looked quite fragile and beaten up. Her name was Karin Uzumaki. Reiga was gonna kill her if she didn't tell him something important, so she told him that she could heal people at a bite. And for the remaining time, he used her, as she had a lot of bite marks over her. She looked hungry, she looked tired, she looked weak. as Naruto took pity on the girl and took her with him, as he was gonna bring her back to the village with him. With that, they came up on Team Samui. As they were there as well, they were given a mission by the boy to take care of the rebels. But given the fact that Naruto was here now, they decided to split it between them. We then made our way towards the Akatsuki hideout, where Gaara, the one-tailed Ichibai was. Many has changed in the past couple of years, and the Jinchurikis are with the Akatsuki. So yeah guys, so basically as we left off, you guys can switch across the place to check out for yourself. So what do you say begin this new episode? We start this new episode at the Akatsuki hideout. Gaara-kun, everything alright, a voice said. The voice was of a female, who looked towards Gaara with kindness in her eyes. I don't know if it's right to go there with the intent to harm. What if they view it wrongly? Gaara spoke. As he looked through the window of the school was a 5-floor building, made up of scrap metal, all brought up together with the aid of others like him, other Jinchurikis. It was proof that Jinchurikis only weren't meant to destroy, they could also build. Woman with light purple hair and a green dress smiled kindly at the boy. Itachi and Orochimaru-san told us that the Kyuubi Jinchuriki is hiding within Konoha. The one outside is nothing but a scapegoat. We must force Konoha to bring the Jinchuriki out, so that we could save him or her. I know, said Gaara, but what if he or her doesn't want to come? What if they were like I was, said Gaara. That is why you will be going there alongside Kisame-san and Itachi-san, while Deidara will draw the village attention where there is fewer people, but there will be casualties. We have to force him to resort to using Jinchuriki in the first place. So, Gaara still wasn't convinced. Gaara, we just need you to speak to him or her. You won't be asked to kill, and you know that. If he is like you, then you will just need to help Kisame and Itachi subdue him or her. Taking in all those words, Gaara finally nodded. Yes, Goren-san, he said. I'll do my best. Good, said Goren. Now go play with the other children. No mope in the corner, okay? With a nod, Gaara made his way to where the other children were playing in the rain. Goren watched the scene with a small smile. Years before, Gaara would have crushed anyone that came near him to prove its existence. And now he was here playing the other kids. Why couldn't the village understand that Jinchurikis weren't weapons, but simple human beings? It should have been their choice, wherever they want to become one or not, and not something to be forced on them. Time skip. Sometime life give you hell in exchange for nothing. Other time life give you heaven, pretty much for nothing as well. That's just the nature of everything, ups and downs. One moment you're in peace, the other you're holding the mangled corpse of your mother, who barely had enough time to push you out of the way of the falling building. Still, that wasn't what mattered at the moment. What mattered was that she was having a hot bath, as she had cleaned herself, as she kept her body wrapped up in towel, refusing to look at those marks, those bite marks that would probably never fade away. Too much time has passed to treat them. She couldn't help but feel relaxed at the moment. The fact that she felt that familiar trucker in the next room. Yes, his name was Naruto, and to her eyes he was an angel in human skin. There was no other way to describe his strength, his aura, and his kindness. The only problem was she didn't know how much it would last. Eventually, he would go his own way, and she would have to go her own, right? She couldn't follow him, could she? As she moped over it, she decided to solve the problem once and for all, as she exited the bathroom and moved to the room in the palace that Hikaru had been so kind to give her. The clothes are on the seat right next to you. Don't come out naked. Naruto words made her stop as she catch her breath. Obviously, he was a censor as well. That was pretty much obvious. But did he peep on her? Was that how he had realized? No. And I'm avoiding you the embarrassment. Just dress up and come here. Dinner, it's gonna get cold otherwise. Those simple words, Karin's face was already red, just like her eyes and hair. As she put on the clothes, white shirt, light blue jacket, and white pants. Pale clothes but her size and better than what she had on before. As she walked over, she sat in front of the man where her plate and food was. She wanted to ask him what now, as she didn't want him to leave. Tomorrow, we're leaving for Konoha. Both of us, he said. Karin's eyes widened in shock. You think I will leave you here, said Naruto. I'm bringing you to Konoha. There's the Uzumaki clan matriarch there. And if she doesn't know what to do, I have a free room in the Senju clan. It has so many. It could house half of Konoha without any problems. Next moment, the girl had already launched herself as she was hugging Naruto in tears. Naruto patted her on the head. It's alright, he said. Come on, eat up. Your dinner's gonna get cold. She pulled back, trying to wipe away the tears. Why are you so kind, she asked. Because it's who I am, he said. As the girl sat down, as she tried to use the chopsticks, but being so long, her hands couldn't even hold on to anything, as she couldn't use the chopstick properly. As Naruto waved towards her, as he told her shh, here, as he produced a knife, a fork, and a spoon from his bag. You see, when you're on the road and eating canned food, to hell with chopsticks. Spoon is the best way, he said. Mild is secret. As Karin nodded as she thanked him, as she started to eat. After she was finished, she hesitated for a moment. You're a good guy, right? I have blood on my hands, but I'm not evil. If that's what you're asking, said Naruto. Karin nodded at the not evil. She didn't understand the rest. I have this thing, I can sense chakra. I know what a person's soul is, and I can suppress this aura, make it impossible for ninjas to sense each other. And if someone bite me, they can take my chakra and heal themselves. As Naruto nodded, she looked up at him. She was surprised there was no mention of proof in it. I don't believe you. Show it to me. He just nodded. He accepted their words. Thank you for telling me. Do you want me not to tell anyone? Karin nodded. Then I won't tell, said Naruto. You have my word. Thank you, she whispered. Maybe you should get some rest, said Naruto. Tomorrow's gonna be a stressful day. The girl nodded as she made her way towards her futon. But she wondered, what if she went to bed and she woke up tomorrow and this was all a dream? And she woke up in Riga's tent, her hair being held in his dirty hand. No, this was real. She could tell it as she felt the soft fabric of the futon. As Naruto stood there, as he waited until she fell asleep, he then turned towards the window. Just how many boys and girls live in the condition that she is living in, or in the elemental nation? And just how many could he save? How many could he actually find or know they existed? You can't save them all. That's the excuse for the weak. I concur, the Kyuubi said. Hikaru seemed to have a good head on his shoulder. I gave him some tips and advice, and he accepted to make Takabitsu Jonin from Konoha come over to help him with the administration part. My job is done right now. Yet something doesn't satisfy you, does it? Said the Kyuubi. This was a trap for me, by Rika. But when will a trap for someone else come? When you become a genin, will they try to hunt her down to get me, said Naruto. As Naruto's head turned towards the side. What brings a cat to go this high, he said. As Yujito was standing to the side of the palace wall, looking at him. You should knock your arrogance down a step, she said. I'm older than you. Age, power, blood, and family of someone else. They don't really mean much to me, said Naruto. My respect is earned, not taken lightly. What's this hostility and taunting about? You can't still be mad at me for your teammate. I mean, it's been what? 5 years, said Yujito. You never said that you were sorry to her, you know? Oh come on, it's not like you were married to another. And do you really love your teammate so much? What happened to Serious Guy, by the way? The Uchiha was stronger than you the last time I recall. As Naruto clenched his fist tight. Read your bingo book, he said. As she watched electricity sparkle on the boy. Calm down, she said. I only came to talk. Just what just happened? Sure, Atsui told her that she might have her head in a bag when it doesn't concern training, but they were just talking and taunting, and yet he just went ballistic. Then talking leaves swiftly, he said as he looked towards the ocean gaze. You're real, the Kyuubi Jinjulki, she said. The next moment, blue flames flicker on Naruto as his eyes glow ominously. As claw, fox arms came around him, two tails made of blue fur came behind him. As Yujito felt her chakra slip as she had to grab onto the terrace. What the hell? As his body returned back to normal, no sign of anything ever being there. What? Just what is? I'm the Kyuubi Jinjulki, he said, though 2 tails is the maximum of my power right now. Was that proof enough? Hollow. That power, it was hollow. Empty of life. Filled with control. The monster he is worse than all of us. He's our death. Do not let him antagonize us. Mate with him immediately. Nebe, stop it, said Yujito in her mind. I'm not taking you seriously. She recomposed herself. I'm sorry. It's just that Nebe insists that you couldn't be one. You don't have enough chakra like we Jinjulkis normally do. And your regeneration is Naruto shrugged as he turned to look back at the room where Karin was sleeping. So once the mission is over, are you going to try and rake in the bounty in my head? He asked carefully. And what if we're going to try, she asked, with that smirk on her face. Try as much as you like, said Naruto. But I warn you, the fear that you felt in Chunin exams all those years ago would be a walk in the park compared to now. As he entered his room once more, closing the terrace window, Yujito stood there for a moment before turning to leave. So he was a Kyuubi Jinjulki, yet Nebe had spoken of hollow power. Yujito knew that she had to inform Nagato soon. She touched her ring, with the number 2 on it. She bit her lip. Later, maybe. Right now, she had to convince her teammates to not try anything rash the next day, because she wouldn't want to fight something not even Mantabi like. Timeskip, Konoha made to look at the report on his decks. The information was all there, who had died, who did not. The fact that Karin Uzumaki was arriving in Konoha with Naruto. The report had arrived a week before Naruto returned. And since now that 7 days has passed, the man was bound to arrive in his office at any time now. He looked towards the door that opened, as the person did not knock, meaning that it was his daughter Katsumi, his student Kakashi, or his wife Kushina. Neither of them knocked when using his door to his office, but Kakashi always stood at the window, so there was no door to begin with. But it was Kushina. Kushina, Jaime said. I looked through the rosters of the Uzumaki clan, and there's a Uzumaki IQ. With the description that he's given, it's highly likely that she's not lying, said Kushina. Oh, and I saw Yumi-chan today as well. She was at the park with Snaddy. She called her Bachan. Well, I thought you told me once you would never let any niece of yours call you Bachan to begin with, right? She looked towards him. This and that are different. Do you know if he intend to make her a kunoichi or not? No, said Minato. Well, I suppose he wouldn't answer anyway, if I asked. As he looked towards her. Seriously? You think he would answer me? He barely resisted the urge to keep me out of his wedding. It was only because of Katsumi. She could probably be the only one that could ask him. Kushina, you know that eventually we could make her ask a question. How? Said Kushina. I'm sure Katsumi, if she managed to get the bungeon right, will graduate easily next year, and I could put her in his team. But he finished all the mission requirements. No one ever did that. They usually get appointed sooner, said Kushina. He just didn't want to swear oath of loyalty to me in person. He rather signed a document, said Minato with a shrug. The new bingo book came out too. And guess what? They increased his bounty. Time skip. At the gate. Uncle Senjo was at the gate of Konoha. Her arms was folded across her chest. She had taken the free day because she knew that today Naruto would be back with his mysterious guest. She also knew that it was a female. Obviously, a part of her knew that he would never bring a lover back home, straight in the guest room. But then again, he was unpredictable. But still, it shouldn't be her position to nag about it. But at the same time, it should. On one side, she was actually the one lying through her teeth every moment towards him, so she shouldn't really be jealous. On the other, she had to act jealous like any wife would be. But on another side, she was actually jealous. As she pushed her hand through her hair, Lisa grew in frustration. How long was he gonna make her wait? She knew it was today. The report had come in a week before. Furthermore, she received another scroll telling her his possibility of arrival, and whenever he said that he would be somewhere, he would be. As she then saw a glint in blue, as she saw him with a red freckle on his back. Going closer, she saw the red freckle. It was a 9-year-old girl. Well, she looked that age. So he found an orphan and he took her in. She knew Naruto as he would adopt this girl. Worse if he got a bond with her. It's like what he did with all the stray dogs of Konoha, until the Inuzakas came by and did her a favor by taking them. Meanwhile, Karin was on his back the entire time. On one side, she was too weak to walk long distances, and on the other side, Naruto was incredibly fast, and he didn't seem to mind her weight at all. As she got near the village, she started tense. There was so many chakra signatures, it made her dizzy. Some of them were pitch black, as she shivered and buried her face into the back of his neck. Then, she felt something rather close. As she looked up to see a woman, purple hair, she was wearing a fishnet shirt, with her coat over it, a black shirt over the fishnet shirt that hid her modesty, and a rather short skirt. Light hazel eyes of the woman flickered with a mixture of excitement and worry. Her chakra was strange. It was layered. It was a layer of golden and black that was vile, but that was surrounded by a layer of pure blue chakra, just like the one that Naruto had. It was a light purple aura with a mixture of pink, yellow, and a tinge of red. Why was she jealous? Karin blushed lightly. Well, she has been holding her face on Naruto's neck, wasn't she? Was this Naruto's girlfriend? She looked older than him. Husband, dear, Uncle said, as she had a banner behind her that read, "Congratulations on the Jonin promotion." Yes, Naruto said, as his chakra was excited, as it was flourishing. And wait, did the woman just call him husband? Just how old was he? Karin thought. Explain, Uncle said. Here, said Naruto. And you know technically I have to reach Hokage's office and be dismissed before I say anything. Well, I can torture you. Or I can torture the girl on your back. Naruto rolled his eyes as he kissed her on the cheek. See you at home, he said. Try not to scare other people next time. Karin was shocked, first in surprise at this strange, mad kunoichi, and then the calmness. It seems like it was just a game between the two. As Karin was brought straight towards Hokage's office, the more he made his way towards the office, the colder his chakra get. It was then that she realized why his chakra was so blue. It kinda resembled the ocean, but inside there was this deep swallow of darkness that was spreading rapidly as he made his way closer and closer. It was like a storm brewing. As they were made their way inside, she saw the Hokage. He seemed kind enough, with blonde hair and blue eyes. She was calm as she nodded, as she told a piece of her story. Karin could feel regret, guilt, shame coming from the man, all from his chakra. As she was snapped back to reality, she should be doing a checkup in the hospital, Senju-san, he said. I'm sure my mother can check her out better at the Senju compound than any other maid in the hospital, said Naruto. I would have to prepare a room in Namikaze compound then. You can send her over when Tsunade-san is finished with the checkup. Naruto shook his head. She would probably need a rest from her long journey. I already had a room prepared for her. And I'm sure that my mother would agree with me not to make her move after she finished with her checkup. The Hokage aura showed guilt, annoyance, and at the same time fear as Karin narrowed her eyes. Fine then, he said. Karin was surprised. This man was a Hokage, right? Yet he bowed down to Naruto's demands. That was surprising. With a little bit of stumbling on her part, she followed Naruto outside, only for him to scoop her back up once again, and she was placed on his back as she was a bit flustered as he left the tower. His chakra eased back up, becoming calm and smooth once again. Sorry, said Naruto, I should have asked for your opinion, but I got carried away. It's fine, she said. I wouldn't have known what to choose anyway, so I would have gone with you, she added. Well, hungry for a snack. As Naruto arrived and Ichirok ramen was, well, empty. For the first time in the past couple of months, probably because of the time. Yes, Karin said, as a reply came swiftly. For people who had starved most of their life, when the option for food was there, they never say no. Then we shall make you have ramen for the first time. As Naruto placed her down in the seat, as he smiled towards the old man, as Ayam was there as well. As Karin looked towards the girl confused, that was looking at Naruto with her narrowed eyes, until their gaze turned towards Karin, and then softened, and a smile came on her face. Karin gulped a bit her chakra when she looked at Naruto's boiling with anger, jealousy, rage, scorn, feeling of betrayal, a whirlpool of dark emotions, and at the same time there was regret, sadness, and acceptance. She gulped. Maybe she didn't want to eat ramen after all. Oh, poor thing, Ayam said. Of course, the malnutrition was still showing her face, but she never knew it was that bad. Toki-san, 3 pork ramen extra pork, and a beef ramen to get Karin accustomed to the wonders of ramen. For a moment, Karin thought it was strange for Naruto to be speaking to the man instead of the girl, who was so much closer, and the man seemed to be the cook. The girl seemed to be the one that to take the orders. But everyone acted normal about it, so she didn't think that much about it, as she wondered if something was going on between the two. Perhaps it involved his wife. She didn't know. I'll get the beef ramen done, Ayam said. She winked at Karin. Make sure it's extra delicious for you, okay? As they got the bowls. It was warm, it was nice, a bit salty but wonderful. And Naruto seemed to adore it as he went through 3 bowls. Before she finished her own, she bit her lip as she actually wanted another one. But she couldn't just, another one for Karin, beef again. Or do you prefer trying something different? He blinked. How did he know? Did he have some sort of special power? Some secret juice to read in someone's mind? No, I don't, said Naruto. She blinked. Can you read my mind, she thought herself. But he simply smiled. No, I can't read thoughts, he said. But I know what you're thinking. I went through it too, he said. I know about it. You should listen to him, said Toki as he placed on the beef ramen in front of the girl. He was in a situation worse than yours a couple of years ago, and now he's one of the most respected Jonins in Konoha. They call him the second coming of Second Hokage, and that's not an easy to achieve title. Well, I think they just look at my awesome grey hair and my wonderful blue armor and said, let's not be too original with the nicknames. Karin looked towards both men, the puzzled look, before turning towards Ayam. What are they talking about? Ayam bit her lips. She looked towards Naruto, waiting for him to say something. But he didn't say anything in time, so she spoke. Well, when the Kyuubi attacked Konoha years ago, Naruto was used to be the Jinchuriki, with the beast being sealed inside of him. And instead of being the hero that he should have been called, he was hated. And the people thought that he was a Kyuubi instead of a normal human boy. And they scorned him and treat him and call him bad things, bad names. Karin was given a watered down version, but that was enough. But he's kind, he's got all this kindness. He can't be a monster. Well, little by little they realized their mistakes when he showed them that he was not a monster or demon, and they came to their senses. Oh, so you were hungry too? At the innocent question asked Naruto's face. He simply nodded. Starving, actually. The reason why there is no rabbit in Konoha parks. Probably is my fault, he said. At those words, Ayam pointed the ladle at him. You killed Mr. Fluffy, she said, as Naruto raised his hand in defense. In my defense, he tasted horrible, if I had known. As Karin saw that the aura started to change around her, but he was still having a bit of regret, but Naruto aura was so happy. What she didn't know was Naruto was happy that Ayam was speaking to him once again. It may be a little bickering about wild rabbits, but still, she was speaking to him. Karin then felt something behind her. She turned, as she saw 2 boys wrapped up in ninja wire. They were caught the moment they reached Naruto. Sensei, please, help me, said Neji. As Tenten was there, she was dragging them away, as she was the one wrapping them up in ninja wire. What the Hyuga said? Please, Sasuke shouted. Now, you all should go and do your training with Guy Sensei, Tenten pointed out, as the girl was suppressing her laughter. He's mad, I tell you. Mad! Sensei, get me out of here! As Naruto paid for the bill, as he gestured for Karin to follow him, it's about time that he see what this guy sensei is like. As coming next year, they will be there. Him and the other Jonins getting a pick of their students. They arrived towards the training ground. Naruto knew my guy because of his name and how Kakashi talked about him, but he didn't really know him. Yosh! The fire of youth burned brightly in us all. A pleasure to meet my fellow Jonin. We should have a spar soon, the man said. Tenten smiled. So sensei, when do I get to try live ammo on running people? Asked Tenten. So that was the reason why she wanted to force Neji back here. As Naruto had no idea why Sasuke was captured as well though. Hey, release me now! The Uchiha is too close to my personal taste, said Neji. Listen who is talking. You're too close to my personal taste, Sasuke shouted back. As Tenten released them. Yosh, Guy Sensei! As a mini clone of Guy appeared. And who might this be, he said, as he looked towards Karin. Karin was taken aback, the auras were just so bright here. There was a small bout of jealousy though. But the auras were just so packed and bright. As she was taken aback. I should be the one doing the presentation, said Naruto. This is Karin Uzumaki. Karin, meet Sasuke and Neji, two really close friends. As Naruto raised a pinky finger. No, said Neji, that's not true. As Sasuke glared at Naruto, as Naruto simply laughed. Despite everything, Karin felt at ease, as this was a lot better than being out there. Being out there treated like garbage, as she was so eternally grateful to Naruto. Later that night, Karin was sleeping in the guest room at Naruto's house. Meanwhile, downstairs, Anko was in the process of sharpening her kunai. On the other hand, Tsunade was flipping through a medical chart about Karin's tuition. On the third side, there was Kushina Namikaze, who was sipping tea. Tea that she was offered when Karin was still weak. Tea that she was doing her best to sip quietly and slowly, to delay the inevitable. On the fourth side, Naruto was calm, trying to act as calm as possible. After all, it wouldn't do him any good to be yelling with Yumi and Karin sleeping. Not after it took hours to convince Yumi to release Karin's hair and stop going after it. As Karin, once her hair was touched, well, Yumi had grabbed it on a playful streak, but Karin had went into a fit, and she dropped towards the ground shivering. Something that hurt her in the past, resetting her memory. As Tsunade said that she needed rest, so now she was sleeping. So, said Tsunade, what do we do? As the Uzumaki, it will be my pleasure to take care of her. The Namikaze mansion has a lot of free rooms, said Kushina. Yeah, I pity the girl is gonna be shocked for a while. And an empty house filled with strangers is not gonna help her. The purple hair Kunoichi pointed out. Truthfully, she just wanted to one up the red hair whore, well, woman. She couldn't go up against the Hokage. No one said anything about the wife. Once Naruto explained, she made up her mind she wasn't going to let that bitch, the Hokage's wife, get anything from Naruto ever. And the girl also rather stay at Naruto's side if the earlier indications were anything to go off. The house is not empty. Katsumi-chan is always around with Ebisu, who is a Takabitsu Jonin, doing her free time. And both the Hokage and I are in the village at Kushina, while the Senju duties as Jonin Sensei will eventually bring him to leave the village for a long-term mission like the last one. When that happened, there will be me, Shizune, or Tsunade in the house. And Yumi-chan could use another babysitter as well, said Uncle. And you would trust someone you barely met less than a couple of hours ago, which was spent crying on the ground with your daughter. Well, it's better than trusting your own son, with the concept of hero to those villagers. As Kushina's eyes narrowed, so did Uncle. Tsunade chose to ignore the both of them as she turned towards her son. Well, Naruto-chan, it's your call technically. Since she has no family, you can adopt her, if she wants to. As a clan member, you could adopt her as a daughter as well. Or you could simply adopt her a part of the clan, you being the clan head. But I'm her family, said Kushina. I could refuse your claims at any moment. Well, actually no, said Tsunade. We're not speaking about a clan or not. The fact remains that the Uzumaki is the mother side of the Senju clan, meaning that the Senju clan can adopt Uzumakis within its ranks. Basically, you're the branch family. And since when? Asked Kushina. Well, since Hoshirama married Mito Uzumaki, and since it was clear that the Uzumaki blood could hold Bijus easier, it was made clear that any future Jinchuriki would be adopted into the Hokage's clan to confirm their loyalty to Konoha. And back then the first Hokage was a Senju, if I'm not mistaken. You should know that after adopting Naruto, I would have gone through every single file to make sure everything is fully updated, and to make sure that he was 100% mine. You should know that. Kushina sighed. So, are you gonna adopt her or not? She said as she did not look at Naruto as she spoke. As Naruto looked towards Anko, oh no you don't, she said. As the both of their eyes just seemed to glance towards each other for a few tense minutes, as it just kept on looking and twitching and moving, except they did not spoke. Fine, said Uncle, but you adopt her yourself, she said. So, another addition to our clan, said Snappy. I knew by appointing you the leader of the Senju clan, things would be wonderful. You just wanted to get rid of the paperwork. Well, the Senju clan has 6 members now. Seems I'm on a roll, said Naruto. 6? You mean 5, right? Said Snappy. Before she turned towards Uncle, wait, are you pregnant again? No, said Uncle, but I did convince Shizune to join the Senju bandwagon. Really. She just wanted to do it. But since you couldn't come around the paperwork, I did instead, said Naruto. Oh, so that is why she was so angry at me recently. I will be leaving then, said Kushna. Did she mention any bloodline? Nothing that I know of, said Naruto. He wasn't really lying. You could be a censor and have healing blood. That does make the bloodline. And he didn't want this woman to know really nothing. But he was sure though, by next week they would try to change the laws. So if sometime this was happen again, it would be harder. With the woman finally gone, Naruto relaxed as he started to remove his armor. Well, I'll be leaving for the night then. Guess I should apologize to Shizune for not adopting her sooner. As Snappy was gone, Uncle grabbed Naruto's arm and pulled him to the bedroom. I missed you, she said. No more S-rank for a while, okay? She said in a pleading tone. No more S-rank for a while, he says, he smiled. As he fell down in the bed. As by the time Uncle got ready to lie down, he was already asleep. He was probably exhausted from everything. She lied on his chest as she took one of his arms and wrapped it around her. There was again the safety. Time skip. A year later, Katsumi Namikaze woke up as she went to the bathroom. She got her morning routine done quickly. As she went towards the kitchen, she got everything as she quickly dashed towards the window, not even taking the door. Today, she had a meeting with Destiny. She was gonna pass the exams. She was gonna become a genin, enter a team with a kick-ass sensei. She was then gonna become a chunin. She was then gonna marry Sasuke in the future, help him revive his clan after avenging his clan by helping him take down his brother. As Sasuke just needed someone to soothe his heart. Yes, that was her goal. Everything was gonna work out perfectly, as she smiled to herself. Her mother didn't approve of her little dieting though, but just like the others, Sasuke wouldn't like a plump girl, so she had to get rid of the baby fat in her face. Meanwhile, Hinata Hyuga opened her eyes as she did her morning routine before she got dressed. A fishnet shirt, a white jacket over it that was sort of kept open at the top, with a baggy skirt that was a bit short before she exited her room as she waved happily at any branch member from that passed away and the main families once their back was turned towards her. She knew that they could activate the Byakugan, but she still flipped them off. Uncle being around the girl and teaching her her ways had rubbed off on her in a really bad way, as Hinata was no longer the same shy girl as she was. She didn't go to the dining hall, she headed straight for the kitchen where the cooks knew her and gave her her plate straight in her hand. It's not like she cared about dieting like the other girls. She was 12 years old. She was a clear badass girl and she was gonna ace this test and she was gonna be on Naruto Senju's team, where she will force him to spend more time with her. Sakura Haruno woke up as she groaned. She picked herself up as the scroll on her chest fall off. As she made her way to get ready, she hoped she would end up on Kakashi's team. He was a 1000 technique ninja, right? Ever since she saw Naruto in the park that day, doing those cool jutsus, Sakura's been obsessed with them, as she hoped she would get to learn some of them. Meanwhile, Ino looked nervous at the posters on the wall in front of her. Her 2 living gods looked back at her. Obviously, she was staring at Sasuke and Naruto's poster, and she just couldn't decide which one of them she would dress like to represent. What if she ended up one of Naruto's genins? Would they bask in forbidden pleasures and relationships? What if instead the both of them fell in love with her? A 3-way triangle. As blood came down her nose as she giggled rather pervertedly, as she flipped a coin, and she got Sasuke as she dressed. She didn't eat as she was dieting. Sasuke didn't like fat girls after all. Meanwhile, Shino looked at his bugs, who looked back at him. He then looked at his father, who looked back at him. He looked at his father bugs, who looked back at him. His father bugs looked at his bugs, that looked at each other. As the staring contest was immense. Yo, Shino, let's get going, or bro is gonna flay us alive for being late, said Kiba, as his mother had been a bit feral this morning to wake him up, given that this was the day that he became a genin, so he managed to get out a bit early. And he went by to grab Shino. Shino was an okay guy, the both of them had become friends in the semester. And Shino understand why Kiba smelled like a wet dog most of the time, and did not complain about it. Father, said Shino. Son, said Chibi, as the both of them parted. Meanwhile, Shikamaru was thrown out of his bed. It was a strong pull as he was dressed. How did he got dressed so quickly? He didn't even know. Everything was just so troublesome as he landed right on Choji's shoulders, the bigger boy looking up at him. Troublesome, said Shikamaru as he went back to our lower level. So Shikamaru, who do you think we're going to be placed on team with? I think we're gonna be with Ino. Damn troublesome woman. You sure? Pretty sure. Don't worry. If she acts up, I'll stop her. Meanwhile, Sasuke woke up to the humming sound of his mother, Migato, who was preparing breakfast for him. Recently, his mother has been started to smile once again. And Sasuke was curious. He was glad that she was happy, he was extremely glad. But she was meeting someone. Meeting up with someone and didn't know who it was. He had to find out. After all, they have to be worthy enough for her. As Sasuke turned towards the mirror in his room. Sharingan! Sharingan! But yet nothing happened. As he remembered that, do not compare yourself to others. Carve your own path. He shook that thought out of his head, remembering, as those words brought him back to reality. As he got ready, he made his way downstairs. As he sat down, his mother was humming a tune. As she gave him his ex. Is he a Jonin at least? Asked Sasuke. Who is? Said Migato. As Migato really know how to keep a secret. The guy that you're seeing, said Sasuke. I'm not seeing anyone, she said. After all, it was just a bit of a flirt. So, she didn't have to tell Sasuke for him to flip out about it. Now eat up and move or you'll be late. Sasuke narrowed his eyes. Of course he will find out. And if he's not worthy. He grabbed the last piece of toast as he waved goodbye to his mother as he headed off. As the classroom filled up, Iruka was standing behind the desk as he watched his Jennings, who would be back tomorrow for remedial classes, or they would be full-fledged Jennings. Well, if everyone is here, the door clanked open as a girl with red hair and red eyes rushed in the room. I'm not late, right? She said. She pushed her glasses back up as she looked towards Iruka. Just in time, Karin-chan, said Iruka as the girl moved to her spot right beside Sakura. When she arrived mid-term in the last year of school, Iruka thought that Naruto had turned mad. The girl didn't have any kunoichi training at all. She would have needed more time, certainly. But yet he was surprised by the effort and willpower the girl had put through. Karin Senju was just as gifted, if not more, than Naruto was in his time. And that was being shown again and again. More importantly, the girl trained herself to the brink of exhaustion, as Naruto spoke about her like she was a daughter of his. The day that Karin decided that she wanted to be a kunoichi to repay everything that Naruto has given her, Anko took her aside and told her something that she remembered until this day. If you die, he will cry. And if he cry, I'll be sad. And I will cry as well. And he will cry even more. And I'll bring you back from dead and kill you myself. So, we have to do training. No slacking off. And Anko had pushed her to the limit to make her ready, even though she wasn't technically. Therefore, the other years of the academy, the girl had reached up to the proper level. Iruka called them one at a time as he brought them to an empty room where they would perform the 3 basic academy jutsus. They were already given the written part, as Karin had put in effort into studying as well. Everything. Slowly, the classroom started to trickle down more and more until a little bit remained as the ones that passed went outside with their forehead protector on full view. The parents were outside waiting as attentions were at the Hokage and his wife. Those two were eagerly waiting as they were waiting for their daughter to come out. Kushina was also holding a bento box in her hand with a furious look on her face. Hatsume had left without eating the breakfast. Stupid dieting idea from stupid fashion magazines. Well, she did the same thing at her age, but she didn't want that for her daughter. Not too far as back leaned up against a tree, Naruto Senju was standing there. The exam was just a formality. It was a Jonin Sensei test that mattered, who passed and who did not. As Naruto saw her, Karin coming out, with a Konoha headband displayed on her forehead, as Karin came out as she looked around. As Naruto waved, she spotted him. She rushed over, as she had a big smile on her face. I did it. I'm a kunoichi now. It was easy. They just asked us to do a transformation, substitution, and a clone. As Karin looked up, as she saw Uncle jump down. Found me out. Good job, Apple-chan. With a flustered expression, Karin removed herself from hugging Naruto. He was hugging him the entire time while she was talking. Aw, she's so cute when she's flustered, said Uncle. Oh, I get it. I want to know about your graduation present. As Karin's eyes lit up, Uncle, no corrupting young, said Naruto, as he stressed that for the last time, especially what she did to Hinata. As Hinata came out bursting a bubble gum, she blew a big bubble and burst it. As the branch member who was nearby, she did not see him yet. As the girl had really changed a lot. Hi, Uncle-san, Naruto-san, Karin-chan. The last name came out with a bit of jealousy in it. As Karin could feel it, but she could live with that. There was no scorn or anger in it, just a bit of jealousy. Hinata-chan, said Naruto with a smile. Good to see you pass too. If you end up with my daughter on your team, please keep an eye out for her, okay? I will, you can count on it. And if I end up with you as my sensei, could I come over to receive more help in my training? Don't you have something like a entire clan who's willing to help you, said Karin. Well, Neji is stronger than most of clan members because he trained away from the clan, with Naruto's son of all people. You know, said Uncle, you could go and join Neji and Sasuke. Their schemes of revenge against my husband. As Uncle leaned over and kissed Naruto on the cheek, as both Kunoichi flustered and looked away. I could actually, Hinata said. Maybe I could go through with the seduction part of the mission. Her eyes went down towards her chest. While not really large, but better than most girls in the class. It was then that Karin felt it the moment Hinata said those words. Uncle Chakra Flare. A mixture of golden. Blue. She was panicking, she was worried. Before this purple calm came over and washed everything down. As she calmed herself, I see, she said a smile. But he will need bigger assets. He's used the mine after all. She grabbed Naruto's arm and put it between her breasts. Can you please stop corrupting the miners, said Naruto. You're really no fun. Thank Kami I'm here to help, she said a smile. Fine, Hinata-chan. It doesn't matter if you're not placed in my genin team. You can still come with Sasuke and Neji to train. Understood. Thank you, she said. I'll see you guys soon, okay? With that, she left. Now, said Naruto, as Karin smiled as a graduation gift. I'm sure you're gonna pass genin exams. I picked something up for you. As he gave her a package, she unwrapped it, as it was a small slip of paper, a summoning circle with red ink on it. It's a summoning jutsu for a chameleon. If you ever find yourself in trouble, just pour chakra into it and summon your chameleon, and tell him your plight. He should track me down fast enough, he said. Thank you, father, she said as she wrapped him up in a hug. Hey, what about me? You know I was the one who suggested, said Uncle. I suppose, as she gave Uncle a hug. Thank you, Uncle-san, for being concerned about my well-being. As Uncle I twitched, you little, as Karin jumped back. Hey, come back here, as both of them started running the tree. As Naruto stood there, he had a nagging feeling that something was wrong. A moment later, Kiba rushed over. Bro, I knew I'd find you here. As Naruto stepped forward away from a tree at the two females running down each other. So, you passed too. Congratulations, said Naruto. No one came to pick you up, said Naruto. Mom was really busy with the dogs in the kennels, and big sister Hana had to stay behind and help her. But I can go back alone. I was just hanging around though, to see how the rest of our class went. Well, actually, he was looking around like a lost puppy, looking for his bro to show off his forehead protector, said Shino. Shino, Kiba said. Well done to you too, said Naruto. Your parents aren't here either. No, they're present. But I feel the need to help the lost puppy find his bro. There was kindness in Shino's words, but the way he said it, it was just, well, it looked like he didn't care, but he actually did. He was a sweet kid. To answer your questions, no, I do not know who my genin team will be, said Naruto, as he knew that is what Kiba was going to ask next. The assignments are going to be made this afternoon. Got it, bro. I hope we end up in the same team. That Kiba waved off as he made his way into the crowd. As Naruto stopped Shino, is there something bothering you, Shino? Inuyasaka's trained fiercely, correct? As Naruto nodded. Why? Nothing much. Thank you for the time. I hope I end up having used my senses, Shino. With that, he made his way off. As Naruto turned and grabbed Uncle by his shoulders. Would you stop harassing your daughter? Come on. It's time that we go and get some lunch. I'm sure your grandmother probably burned in the kitchen by now. But Shizune is there, so she probably put out the fire, he said. As Uncle pinched her cheek. As they made their way home. Little by little, the crowd started to fade away. As Minato was left, along with his wife. Both of them looking quite worried. She should already be out already. Do you think she failed? It's not possible, she knew all the basic academy jutsus. The both of them started marching there as Aruka came out. Hokage-sama, Namikaze-san, is there something you need? How did Katsumi-chan go? She didn't come. I thought you were here to tell me that she was still sick. Wait, she isn't sick? No, we thought that she was in school, said Kushina. Yes, she did come, but she was taken to the infirmary by Misuke, who isn't feeling well. I thought the both of you were here to tell me that she wasn't that bad off. But that's not possible. Katsumi has never been sick once in her life, said Minato. Where is Mizuki now? He already left. He had some business to attend to. Why? Kushina, go give the general alarm and warn the envoys. I'll flash around the village. Aruka, go and look for Mizuki. With that, the man was gone. Meanwhile, with Katsumi, she was told that the examination would be different in her case because she could easily skip genin in order to make tuning with her grades. When Mizuki had proposed it to her, she easily accepted the chance. As a tuning, that would just make everything more perfect for her. As she looked at the forbidden scroll, she just couldn't wait her parents to be so proud of her. She would make tuning at 12 years old. So there she was, waiting for Mizuki to arrive to give her passing. When she got bored, she knew the scroll had to be a fake one. After all, it wasn't really that guarded. The guards were probably just camouflage and watching her, a part of her test. She opened the scroll out of boredom as she saw the first jutsu. The Shadow Clone Jutsu. Wait, that was... She closed the scroll. This was real? This was a real deal? She picked up herself as kunais were thrown fast. She turned and she brought the scroll around. But it wasn't fast enough. As few of them hit her on her side, she dropped. But the large scroll blocked the others. Dropping, the kunais fell. She screamed in pain as the blood dropped. But her wounds healed pretty fast though. What's going on? Was this the test? Maybe she was supposed to survive against an unknown enemy for a while. Or perhaps this was punishment for looking in the scroll. Another moment, a kunai stabbed in the ground beside her. She then noticed the explosion tag on it as she moved, but it exploded. It threw her into the tree as she smashed against it hard. It was then that a massive Fuma shuriken was sent towards her head. She quickly substituted a log as the log was split along with the tree. Panting and wincing, she tried to make her way back to the village. Mizuki gritted his teeth. What the hell was going on? He was a goddamn chunin, and yet he couldn't kill the fourth Hokage's breath. Orochimaru-sama gave him those orders to kill her, and he would do anything for his master to be happy, as he would make him one of his main subordinates. He pulled out ninja wires and leaped down as he appeared right behind the girl. The only thing Katsumi saw was a blur as he wrapped the wire on her throat tight. Katsumi gasped as she tried to free herself, but her oxygen started to seep away as her hand dropped the scroll. As Katsumi's eyes were getting lower and lower until she lost consciousness. Mizuki smirked as blood started to run down her neck as the wire had broke her skin a bit. Killing of the fourth Hokage's daughter and the scroll for his master. This was just perfect. Katsumi woke up in her mind. She was in some kind of sewer that she didn't know. Water was up to her waist. Giant iron bars was in front of her. The bars were corroded, rust, while some of them had some deep gashes on them. There was hundreds of chains, shackles, with the kanji for a seal on it in front of her. Behind all of these protection, two giant eyes were behind it that looked at her with hatred and disgust. Weak, the voice said in a roar. Till or be killed as red chakra poured from the bars and slammed into Katsumi. Back in the outside world, Katsumi growled as red chakra burst from her body, forcing Mizuki to jump back as the wire at her neck was corroded off of her. As a vile chakra spread around her entire body, Mizuki jumped back in complete shock as he looked at the girl. As Katsumi turned, her teeth had turned into fangs, claws coming on her hands as she growled towards Mizuki, who stepped back in fright. But guys, to be in episode right here. If you want the next part, do like, subscribe, comment down below, and turn on the bell notifications they posted. Remember, share to all of your friends in your social media platform. And also, guys, go ahead and check out the brand new episode of What If Naruto Was the Legendary Neglected Uzumaki. And enjoy that, guys. Remember, if you're new, go ahead and click that red subscribe button and become part of the Anime King family. And thank you for all of your help and support. And yes, if you're new, I indeed have 3 channels: Anime King, Anime King 2, and Anime King 3, which I post what fun every single day for you guys to enjoy. So go ahead and click that red subscribe button and become part of the Anime King family. And thank you for all of your help and support. And yeah, without further ado, I'm over for now. See you guys soon. Peace, guys.